What's up, everybody? It's your favorite speedster's favorite nerd. Today we are looking at SXS's Overclocking, which is their masterpiece, sort of IDW-esque blur. He does come with two accessories. We'll take a look at them real quick. This is like the shield. It forms the front end of the vehicle. It's okay. It's got plastic, translucent plastic there, and then this blue paint there and there, which kind of breaks it up. A little silver there would have been even nicer, but beggars can't be choosers, I suppose. This slides into there. It is on an angle, so if it doesn't seem like it'll go, you got the angle wrong. It's not the toy's fault, like I seem to do right now. There. Money. No issues. I'm not a big fan of this look. I don't quite get it. It's a little on the silly side for me, but it does work. And I do have a bit of an issue getting it out at times, but nothing mind-blowing. And then there's this, which is a big laser rifle thing. Not a lick of paint on the black, which is unfortunate. Holds the handle just fine. You know, and you can go for that kind of look. It's not really my cup of tea, but the option is available to you. The other option with this thing is even worse. Flip this bit up here, and then open these side bits. Flip all these claws around, and then you have like a Bizarro Wolverine type of deal. And then he can hold that right on his hand. It slides down right into this portion there between his wrist and his hand, and then you've got this thing. I think my buddy Brave, shout out to Brave Toys Reviews, I think he called it a Badger Claw, which is pretty funny. But yeah, if you want him armed up like this, you have that option, so cheers for you. I think I might keep the I think I'm going to put them both in the box, to be honest with you, and just display them as such. They both work really well in vehicle mode. They both do work in robot mode, so I don't have like a parts forming complaint about it. I think the gun is more of a stretch, but the gun really pays off in vehicle mode, so I'm okay with it. Let's talk about the figure himself. We'll take the accessories off if we can for the time being, and we'll go head to toe. The head is a decent sculpt. I kind of wish that the these like wings here on the sides of his head was a little bit more stylized. There's not really a lick of paint on here, which is unfortunate because it would have really made this thing pop. It's basically this blue piece of plastic screwed into this light blue piece of plastic. The light blue piece of plastic, you're going to think I'm nitpicking, but just bear with me. The features are really soft, which I'm not a fan of. Like, they don't seem super like hard edged and defined, which I like in a lot of robot faces, but especially like in the under the eyes, like the eye cutouts there for the light piping and so forth, and the lips, and I don't know. It's not my favorite. It's okay though. It's not hateful by any means necessary, but if I'm being critical about it, that would be a criticism of mine. It's on a ball joint, and that works fairly well. Good up, limited down, side to side, and then the confused dog look is not a problem. I do like that these little silver bits in there are painted. It just kind of breaks up the figure and makes it look a little interesting. I like the translucent blue here in the cockpit as well, which does open up in case you were curious. The light blue against the dark blue does help break up this piece because one of the issues is the lack of paint on this unit, but we'll talk about that as we go on. Shoulders are on a hinged swivel. So the hinge is in here, and it's a soft ratchet in the shoulder, and then it swivels here. The shoulder on the inside of this blue piece, I have a problem. Mine, like for transformation, it collapses a bit. Mine often wants to collapse. But there's a ball joint inside there, so you can get a little extra turnout at the arm, which does help. And then it gives you an upper bicep swivel. And then the way that this is designed down here, you have a forearm swivel, which is kind of useless, but you do have it. And you have an elbow joint that gets you 90 degrees, no problem. Wrist is on a hinge also, and I think it's a hinge. No, it's a ball peg. It's a ball peg. So you get back and forth. You have fully articulated wrist, which is pretty nice. And then the fingers are on a hinge. Just all four fingers are on the same hinge, which is my preferred method. of doing this. Only real breakup we have here, solid piece of plastic here, solid piece of plastic here, hinge to another solid piece of plastic. More solid, you know, nothing, and then we have I think this is actually this tab in here, which does open up to reveal these little missiles. That's silver paint, I think, in there, and then you have this little yellow triangle, and that's it for paint. Same on the other side. A lot of screws. You know, I'm not the screw guy. Like, I'm not the guy that gets all worked up about screws, but I'm just pointing it out that they are very visible, and there are like pins and screws everywhere, it seems. Waist is on a swivel, which works fine. Talking to the back, looking at the back rather of the figure, we have this translucent blue pieces, which I do really like. They do look pretty interesting, and they are pretty cool. And then the silver pieces are painted up there, which does look cool as well. And then these front pieces are painted well. Yellow, light blue, sharp, well done. I dig it. Pelvis, solid pieces of plastic used over and over. Same for the hips, which are on basically a universal joint. It's not ratcheted. And what's weird is there's this like one point where it gives, okay? So like, it not in weakness, but it's just like, so from here to here, smooth sailing, right? And then you get down here, and then in order to get them down by the side, it's like, watch this. You see, it's like, it gets jammed up a bit, and then it goes. I do find that a little odd. I don't know if you can see what I'm saying. I don't know. It's bizarre. Moving down the figure, you get good range of motion, though, on that joint. No problems there. Moving down the figure, I think these vents should have been painted. I think that would have helped, but no paint there on the thighs. We got a little silver on the outside there, so pardon me. And then the knees are double jointed and get you way past 90 degrees for basically anything that you would want. Good color breakup down here with different color choices of plastic, but no real paint applications on them. And then the feet are really well articulated. It's a hinge connected to a ball peg, so you get the tilt and then the rocker with no problem. And you can get pretty much, you know, your limitations in posing are definitely not going to be from the feet. You know, like, you can get some extreme angles with those feet, which is really well done, I must say. Before we transform him, I just want to say that this figure is much better than I expected him to be. I'll just get that out of the way. But this whole process with him has been a bit of an emotional roller coaster. Robert. Yo, let me put you on speaker.
Did you see that SXS blur?
I did. I don't know about that, man. I don't know. Ever since that continuously variable, I don't know.
Looks good to me. I pre-ordered that SXS blur.
Hope it's better than the gears.
Well, maybe they improved. I got my SXS blur.
Oh yeah? How do you like him?
He's awesome. You have to get him.
Okay, alright, fine. I'll get him.
So how do you like that SXS blur?
You know, I gotta be honest with you, I was pleasantly surprised. I like him a fair bit.
Cool. Hey, did you see that unique toys blur?
No? Let me hold on. Let me look him up real quick. Son of a...
Transformation is pretty complex, so forgive me if I stumble, but it is a lot of fun. So open up his hand here, his arm, tuck his hand in. Alright, so let's get him transformed. The transformation is pretty complex, so forgive me if I stumble, but it's also a lot of fun. So open up this forearm here, make sure the fingers are closed, tuck the hand in. Actually, it might be better if you had the fingers at the back of the hand that way. Yeah, close that up. Open up on the other side, tuck the hand in, close it up. Then rotate the forearm so that these pieces line up and collapse them. Same on the other side. And the next thing you got to do is open this piece up here in the back. In order to really do that, you need to rotate these like thrusters down, and this is for me the most frustrating part, but you have to split this piece and then you have to have the clearance. You might have to move these pieces out of them. let's see, it had the clearance here, and it gets jammed up right there. And these sliding pieces here are not the I'm not a big fan of sliding mechanisms in Transformers anyway, but all in all, it does go pretty smoothly. You just have to make sure that you're cleared. And then pop the this whole head assembly through, and you see I'm still not far enough over. There, got it through, and then slide these pieces back together. Good to go. And then you got to get these pieces out. So now you can get these up, and you can pull this whole back assembly, and they tab in like that. And you can get these pieces out to the side. And let's focus on the legs for a bit. So open this piece up, bring that up. Open this piece up, bring that up. Fold the feet up and bring those pieces down. So I'll show you a little bit better on this side. Fold the feet up and bring that piece down. Something they did here, which was pretty thoughtful. Open that up, fold that in, and then close that up. Same on the other side. Alright, so now, let's see here. Fold this whole piece down like this. This piece here, this pelvis piece, plugs back in to the underside. There. And then these pieces rotate the thigh here. No, not right. Hold up. There. There. Same on the other side. There. Nice. Rotate these thrusters. Rotate this. I don't know. Mine is coming apart, but that hasn't been my. That hasn't usually been my experience with this thing. These pieces tab in here, and it is a tight fit. And here. Bring this head down. I like to put the thrusters up kind of on the side, like that. Then, take this piece, split it open, bring the claw out. You wrap the claw right here, and then tuck his head down into there. And then take the other part of his weapon, his shield, and that goes right there, and voila. So let's talk about the alt mode a bit. I think it's really cool. If I was to critique it, I'm not crazy about these gaps in here. Now, I don't know if design-wise, because I'm pretty sure they're going for the IDW look, and I don't know if the IDW look, if this is accurate to it. If it is, just off the top of my head, I just don't recall. If it is, then awesome. If it's not, then, well, that's less than awesome. But it's still a pretty cool little cruiser unit, and you can articulate these, kind of as you want. I kind of like them up and to the side, like this, to give that little look to it. But yeah, it's like, I think it's pretty cool, and it rolls You know, if that's your thing. You know, I don't really have any real complaints. I'll give you a little size comparison. Here's Bumblebee. So, you know, he's a good size. So there's a size comparison, and I think he's supposed to be Masterpiece, but I think he's a little short. Like, he seems to scale better with Generation Springer and MMC's Azalea than he does with Ultra Magnus, in my opinion. To me, personally, this does not look as good as this. But maybe that's just me. Let me know what you guys think. Final thoughts wise, the big family member missing to this party is paint. If he had more paint, it would feel a lot better. Now, they used a lot of different color plastics to try to break it up, and it does certainly help, but the paint would have just put this thing over the top and put it in a whole different category. There's also some, like, as my buddy T2RX6 says, some fit and finish type things that are issues with this. For instance, this joint right here on mine is just like, it's just a little, like the tolerance is just a little off. It's a little loose. The issue with the hips, you know, where it's not like a smooth transition, just feels a little off. These sliding mechanisms don't always slide 100% properly, so that's a bit of an issue. And just little, one of these things, these flaps that opens up, one of mine gets jammed up, one of mine doesn't. Just things like that. But overall, those are relatively minor gripes. If you know me, you know I had no intention of getting this thing, and enough people told me it was worth checking out that I went ahead and did, and I'm glad I did, because there are a lot of things going for them. The silhouette is great. The IDW robot mode aesthetic is on point. I don't know if the alt mode is accurate, but if it is, fantastic, and if not, well, that's unfortunate. But I just can't confirm or deny that. The transformation is tedious and is meticulous, but it's also extremely rewarding and relatively intuitive. It's complex. There's a lot going on here. It doesn't just tuck away. There's some real thought put into this thing, and I commend them for that. This is a huge improvement from continuously variable, which was their gears, which was a total piece of trash. Total piece of trash. This is a huge step in the right direction, and I've gone from hating this company and everything that looks like this company to being pretty excited about what they have down the pipeline. So I'm anxious to see what they do next, but this has a lot going for it, and I recommend it. It's a little on the pricey side, but there are a lot of parts to this thing and a lot of moving parts, and it's a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the transformation of it, even though it was pretty complex, and that says something. So thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.